My name is Brian Jenkins. I am a personal leadership and self-mastery coach based out of Gran Canaria, Spain. And today I want to go in the topic of money. But there's a catch here, there's a trick. And that is this conversation that we're going to have about money really isn't about money. Woo! Let's just simmer on that for a little bit. Now, have you ever said, or have you ever heard other people say, money is not important? I have no need for a lot of money. I just want to be comfortable. Just enough to pay my bills. If my car happens to break down, I have money to pay for that. If I want to take my family on a vacation, I can afford it. If I want to go to a nice restaurant, I can do it. And not worry about looking at the menu, looking at the price. But beyond that, money is not important and I don't need it. I don't want it. It's excessive, it's greedy, and there's just no need for it. It is the root, the tree, the root of all evil. Have you ever heard anyone say that? Have you ever said that? I have heard someone very, very close to me say each and every one of those phrases at one point in time or another. Many times. I mean, this person is really close to me. I'm talking about really close. I'm talking about so close. So close, it's almost like he's looking at me in the camera. Yes, I have said that. I've used that phrase in a variety of ways over many years of my life. And if I'm being quite honest here, when I said that, a lot of times it was because I have a lot of it. For example, when I opened my first business here in Spain, and the business was open, it was moving, it was growing, but it wasn't quite growing at the rate that I wanted. I just wasn't earning, the business wasn't earning, i.e. myself. I was the only person there working in the store. It wasn't earning enough. So what did I do to tell myself, to console myself, to then to be able to share when people ask me, so Brian, how's business? So first, to console myself because the business wasn't earning the money that I would have liked for it to earn, I started telling myself, you know what? Money's just not important. It's just not a big deal. I am above money. Money is beneath me. I am working for a greater cause, a deeper purpose that people just don't understand. That was a lie. That was an absolute lie. Now, part of that was because the fact of the matter is, the first business that I did open was a eco-friendly stationery shop to sell recycled and biodegradable products to have a less of an impact on the environment. So that part was true. But the big lie that I was telling myself was that money wasn't important. It wasn't a big deal that it wasn't earning what I wanted to earn. It wasn't a big deal that I felt like I was living, I can't say paycheck to paycheck because obviously when you own your own business, it was just all kind of together. So I wasn't really paying myself a salary. But that was all a lie. So if you've ever said that to yourself, or if you are saying that to yourself, I want to open up another possibility. Because the truth is, even though I made it about money, it was never about money. Listen to what I'm saying, because some of you aren't going to be able to hear me here, but you hear me here. And some of you who are trying to hear me here aren't going to be able to hear me because I'm talking here. It's not about the money. All right? The thing is, we put so much pressure on ourselves to generate money, to create money, to earn a living, to live. We need to have money to earn the right to live, to enjoy, because we have to pay bills. We have to do the adult things and be the responsible citizen, the responsible person for these things. So of course we need money, but it's not about the money. I'm going to tell you why. When we say it's not about the money, we're also telling ourselves another kind of message. Now, I'm not going to be able to hit every little single thing it is for you. This is where I'm going to put the responsibility on you to do a different kind of listening. That's not going to happen here. It's going to happen here. So listen to what I'm saying and then see how this can apply to your life. It may not apply to your life. It may not apply to you at all. Most of you, it will. So I'm going to need you to open up the scope of the conversation and see where you can unlock some things for you, okay? So for me, I'm going to use myself as a case study. When I said it wasn't about the money, when my first business wasn't really prospering like I wanted it to be, it was enough to live, but it just wasn't where I wanted to be. I was telling myself that because I was feeling a sense of failure on my part. I was criticizing myself. I didn't feel like I was doing enough, even though I was working like crazy. I was invested all the earnings that we had back into the business, breaking myself on marketing campaigns, how to get more clients, how to build a website, everything I could possibly do to make the business flourish. And it just wasn't quite happening. Or at least the truth is, it didn't feel as if the effort that I was putting into it, the time, the energy that I was putting into it, I didn't feel like I was getting the return that I wanted. So what did I tell myself? Well, if you take the equation that it's not about money, then where you are is okay. What you've acquired thus far is okay. There's nothing to be done here, nothing to see here. But the truth is I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I did feel like a success, but I didn't really feel like a success. I felt like a success like your mom says, hey, you opened your first business, you should be proud. I felt that kind of success, but I wanted to feel like a success. I wanted to feel like, I was on top of the world, and I didn't. And so that was a way for me to tell myself a lie, tell myself something that didn't require me to take responsibility for something deeper. Now, the other reason why I was saying that money was not important is because it allowed me to hide behind the veil of not trying anything different. Because if I tell myself money is not important, therefore that's the reason why I didn't have the success, or better to say the results that I was looking for, that takes me off the hook for being even more creative. It takes me off the hook for opening myself to something that's more possible for me, in my desires in my life. It takes me off the hook for wanting to be able to open myself to something new and something different. So when I'm saying it's not about the money, it wasn't the whole story. It never really is a story because it's not about the money. Now, to even go a level deeper than that, is for me, it also spoke to my worth. How worthy I felt about myself back in the day. This is going back, when did I open the business? It would have been about 6-7 years ago. Right around that time, 6-7 years ago. And at that point in time, I was feeling pretty desperate. I opened the business quickly to stay in Spain. I needed a business to stay. And that was my vehicle that I chose quickly to open up something in 3 months to get it going. Okay, it wasn't my dream. I just opened it. All right. So, but even after I opened it, I felt proud of it. But yet and still, after I felt proud of the business, it wasn't my dream. But I felt stuck to that vehicle because I invested everything I had into it. All of the equivalent to unemployment. I took a whole lump sum here in Spain. You can take the whole lump sum and then invest into a business. That's what I did. All the profits that we generated, we invested back into the business. And so I didn't have anything else. Like, I was just putting it all into it. And so when I wasn't getting the results that I wanted, I was starting to tell myself that, maybe this is it. You have reached the ceiling. You have plateaued in life, my friend. There's nothing more for you. And by me telling myself it's not about the money, I was starting to settle. Gave myself chills remembering that feeling. I began to settle for a life that wasn't mine, that I didn't want, but consoling myself and saying it wasn't about the money allowed that process to feel a lot better. It felt better, but I was denying something bigger within me. Listen to what I'm telling you. By telling myself that lie, not taking it for face value, but telling myself that lie, I was consoling myself to stay where I didn't want to be. And I see this from a lot of people around me when they say, the money's not a big deal. I'm never going to be rich. I'm never going to be, that's fine. It doesn't have to be about the money. But because you make it about the thing, the money, because society says you are valuable, the more money you make, you are more worthy, the more money you bring in, you are more important, the more you generate. People want to be with you. People want to be like you. People want to be able to offer you things. You be able to buy things with more money. And we put so much pressure on the thing that we totally lose sight of what's there. And the what's there is being able to move through this life authentically you, listening to a different kind of listening to your intuition and aligning your actions, your habits, your rituals, your way of being in such a way that money won't become an issue for you. Now, that concept may be difficult to digest, and I'll be honest with you, it was difficult for me to digest for years. Once I became aware of the lie, I was telling myself that money isn't important, it was hard for me to digest and understand what that meant. And so What I want to say with that is for those of you who feel like you're saying that, because some of you are saying that and you have a lot of money, you're making six figures, even seven figures. Some of you are doing quite well economically, yet keep telling yourself that money isn't important. And that's talking to a part of you that needs to be nourished, that needs to be watered. There's a part of you that feels a bit nervous, a bit scared to take that next step for yourself, to go into uncharted territories for yourself, that you may meet new people, a new business idea, a new product. It may lead you to a new country. It may lead you to a new romance, whatever it may be. But every time you tell yourself that lie that it's not about the money, be curious and see what else are you talking to? Who else are you speaking to? Because it's not about the money. For me, it was about also a sense of not feeling worthy to have a lot, right? For me, it was a sense of not feeling worthy to have a lot of money as well. I never really grew up around a lot of money. My parents were middle class. We never starved. We never scrimped, at least after I was probably like after the age of like 7. But for most of my life with my parents, we lived comfortably. We had everything we needed to take care of. So I didn't really know what money looked like. And also, I was afraid to say that I wanted to have a lot of money for a couple of reasons. I don't want to be greedy, stingy. I don't know about you, but when I think about being a kid, when I was a kid, when I thought about being a kid, when I was a kid and I saw images or cartoons with money, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For me, it was it Scrooge McDuck, who had his tower filled with coins and money. He was so wealthy, but he was so stingy, so angry, such a grumpy duck, I want to say man, but duck man. And he was so short, he seemed heartless. Or the Christmas Carol, the story, of Ebenezer Scrooge. It's the same thing. So I didn't really want to have a lot of money because I thought, well, if I have a lot of money, then I'm going to be, cold-hearted. I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be heartless. I didn't want that. So I kept telling myself these stories. But understand this, money in itself is just an energy. It's just an exchange. It just means that you have done something, you have given something, offered some kind of service, some kind of energy, something of value to someone else, and someone gave you something in exchange for that. Back in the day, it was seashells. Back in the day, it was bartering with vegetables and fruits and furs and all that. So in some kind of way, people were just offering something to someone else and they received something. That's all money is. Now, if you're able to step out of the glitz and glam that is luxury and name brands and all these different things and just get down to the basics of what that is, that it's just an energy, it's exchange. It is not a value of you. It doesn't change you. It can change you. It can change me if I allow it. And that fear of not wanting to, quote unquote, lose myself, of becoming a bad person, kept me limited. So how does that keep me limited? Because again, if I want to expand my services, which is what I want to do right now, my desire, my passion is to have more reach, to get to more people, to be able to work with more people, to allow more people to live their truth and be more authentic. Show people how to be courageous enough to be authentically themselves. Because I believe that the more people are more authentic, more true to themselves, who can live their truth, who can master themselves, I believe we would live in a more peaceful world. We'd have less greed. We'd have less fear. We'd have less judgment, less competition from everyone around us because I'd be good for myself. So that's my passion. But in order for me to do that, and if I do that, if I give more of myself, I become more creative, more expansive to the world around me, and I allow more people to come into my world, inevitably, that's going to probably bring more money to me, right? Whether it's important to me or not, whether I find it like I need it, I want it or not, it's going to come more to me. The more I give, because I have so much to give, there's so much energy here. There's so much motivation here that once I give this, there's going to be a reciprocation. I will receive more money. So, but listen to this. When I tell myself money is not important, poof, what have I done to myself? I am limiting my reach subconsciously. This is deep stuff here. When I tell myself money is not important, I stop allowing myself to think big, because if I think big, then I'm going to receive big. I'm going to say this again. If I think big, if I put myself out there and I allow myself to really be honest with myself and give my gift without judging myself, without fear of failure, without fear of judgment from other people, there is going to be a reciprocation that's going to happen. I'm going to give my energy, my time, my service, my expertise, and I'll receive more from that. But when I keep saying money's not a big deal, I don't want a lot of it, it's not for me, and I stop subconsciously the next time an opportunity comes to me to step into leadership, to play a bigger game, to be more authentic, to be more aligned with my mission and purpose on this earth right now, I'm probably going to stop myself. You know why? Because that fear of success, that fear of getting more money is going to stop me. And so look, at the end of the day, yes, I also agree that fundamentally money is not that important. It doesn't guide me. It guided me for a long time. I was a slave to it. I wanted more of it and I didn't know why. Now I welcome it. I welcome whatever comes to me. I welcome whatever amount comes to me. And I actually do want to accumulate more. Why? Because I don't see it as money, because all that measure is to me when there's 1 million, 10 million, 100 million coming my way, all that signals to me is how much service I have given to the world, how much value I'd offer. And no, I'm not saying that that's the only way that my actions are valuable if I receive something, because there are many beautiful souls on this earth who are volunteers, who commit themselves to philanthropy, who commit themselves to service without taking anything back, and they make a massive impact. But that's not the only way to be in service. That's not the only way to have exchange of your energy and your time, your expertise. Some people choose that works for them. I also know I live here on this earth. There's things that I enjoy. Every now and again, I enjoy going to the 5-star hotel in luxury. Every day, I love going to a Michelin star restaurant and eating the food on the menu and not thinking about the price. I enjoy having a nice big house and having space. I enjoy those things. It doesn't make me. You can take these things away and I'll still be Brian. Today, I would be Brian. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you took these things away from me, I would lose my whole freaking identity. And this goes back to the other part of it. A lot of you, your identity is wrapped around the idea of money and the things that you have. This is why you'll always be a prisoner in your own emotions, a prisoner in your own desires. It's not because of the government. It's not because of the people around you, the politicians. It's because your desires have trapped you in that. Because you don't know what you want. You don't know who you are without these things. These things can come and go for me. I would prefer to have them because I like the experience of it. But if you take those things away, I'm still Brian. My mission doesn't change. The way I move through life doesn't change. And so on that note, I want to invite you to be able to listen differently. Okay, I'm intentionally not saying listen. I'm saying listen differently. When I tell you, if you use the phrase in any kind of way that money is not important, or you don't want it, or you don't need it, get curious on what else you're saying to yourself. What else is connected to that thread? What else are you stopping when you say that? Because again, it's not about the money. You're making it about the money. You want more of it. And then once you get more of it, you're still not necessarily happy because then you acquire more expenses and you're still stretched thin. Not all of you, some of you. But what is behind that? What are you denying yourself by saying it's not about the money? What happens if you start changing that? I welcome all the money that wants to come my way. You're not necessarily saying that you want it. You want a lot of it, but at least you're keeping it open to say, you know what? God, the universe, my community, the people around me want to reward me for what I give out there. I welcome it because I deserve it. I'm allowing myself to receive it and I accept it. Just change that. Try that on and practice that. And if any kind of negative connotations come up around having lots of money, greed, cold-heartedness, sacrifice. That's another thing. Also, people say they don't want a lot of money because they don't have to want to sacrifice their romance and their health for money. Guys, it's not a this or that. It's not have a lot of money or good health. We've also been fed that lie. That is a way that many people have been successful to acquire money, but that's not the only way. That's not the way. It is a way. And most of us only know that way, especially me from my father or from my parents, hardworking people. I've never seen easy money. Because if it's easy money, then we're lazy, right? You didn't earn that. I worked hard. You didn't work as hard as me. Okay, well, your definition of hard work may be different than mine. I don't subscribe to your definition of hard work. And I don't aspire to your definition of hard work. I don't aspire your way of able to open yourself to receive abundance by means of hard work and sacrifice. I don't subscribe to that. I used to. Because as my mind shift changed around what I believe life to be and what it means to live, I didn't want to just slave myself behind a desk all day. I want to be stuck in the professional world all the time and just let life's beauties pass me by. See, but now there's a different way. There's two things that can happen at the same time. One doesn't have to come with the other. Lots of money and abundance and being able to receive does not mean you have to give yourself up. It doesn't mean you have to lose yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be someone who you're not. It means none of those things. It is if you choose it. And so my invitation to you is to experiment with that. Those challenges that you have, those beliefs that you have around money and your identity and yourself, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to get hurt. Nothing bad will happen. The only side effect that will happen is you will expand. The vision of yourself will expand. Your world around you will expand. What you believe yourself to be possible to do will expand. How you move in romantic relationships will expand. How you interact with people on the street will expand. How you approach your professional life, whether it's your business or your career as an executive, that will expand. All of those things will expand if you allow yourself to challenge those thoughts and beliefs. So with that, that's all I have to say about that right now. There's so much more that wants to come through, but again, my goal is to keep these short, and I'm still at 22 minutes. So if you have any questions about what that process could look like for you of actually reprogramming or redefining what money means to you, send me a message. I'd love to share some ideas with you, some more specific ideas, because everyone's obviously reality and experience is going to be very different. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you really want to take a deeper dive in that, reach out to me. Perhaps one-on-one coaching and mentorship is what you are looking for, and what you can really need right now to take that next step. I mean, for me, we don't focus in my work. I don't focus on money. I don't focus on any one particular thing. If money happens to be your sticking point, we'll dive into that, pull that apart. But really, there's a deeper belief system that you have about yourself, about your identity, that's catching you up. And if that's catching you up in money, it's also catching up in other areas as well, and we'll uncover that. So reach out to me as well. Beyond that, family, peace, love, and respect. Brian Christian Jenkins, personal leadership and self-mastery coach based out of Gran Canaria, Spain. All I can say is keep living, keep trying, and keep being you unapologetically.